Hello everybody, welcome to another RCT2 review stream. Today we are going to look at the Cow Factory by MK98. A few housekeeping things before we get going. I am going to be back to work on Monday, which means that my stream schedule may be a little bit wonky, but I'm going to try and keep up doing a stream every, say, 2 days or so, and actually I'm going to try and get into a specific time frame so then we can actually have predictions as to when I'm actually going to be going live every time, just so it's a little more transparent and easy to watch if you want to schedule a time to watch. So we will see, but I just wanted to give a heads up on that in case the uploads are all over the place for a little while. But let's dig into this. This is a design-winning submission from MK98, like I said, and here we get to go look at the behind-the-scenes humorous horrors of McDonald's. And I will say, jumping into this, that I am a fan of McDonald's, despite the fact that I know it's suspect and terribly gross in a lot of ways, but I am a fan. But let's take a look. So let's start down here on the street where we have a nice little streetscape here with some cars and the taxi coming along here, our fake taxi service, which is a little suspicious, and the city cars and everything like that coming along. Then out here along the sidewalk, we have a whole bunch of different shops that are all somehow different McDonald's, such as the McOffice here with our Commander and Idiot here photo, and a nice little KFC, which happens to be on fire because I can't let anybody else onto their turf. Here's our M Casino, and inside we have some cash machines, which I think is pretty funny. Another McDonald's here, and then our not subtle at all advertising, get a Big Mac over the golden arches here, and then the Filet-O office, which is clever, and then also this little protest picket line here. A couple of the protesters taking pictures here of the burning building, and then the police cars. Here we have our little walkway down to the subway, perhaps, our arches on either end. So all McDonald's all the time, but when we go behind the scenes, we get to see where the real fun is. So let's take a look at the coaster because that's the biggest thing, and then we'll take a look at kind of the fun details behind it. So this is a sit-down coaster, and it's a little bit interesting. I'm happy that it's a sit-down coaster rather than a floorless because it seems like everybody kind of defaults to floorless, and I kind of like the classics. The sit-down is nice. On occasion. It's kind of like half realistic and then half just all over the place, which is kind of an interesting choice for one. But here we are diving out of the station, and then we're going to hit this short little launch and go up and over this top hat of sorts into a vertical dive right down into this building. Turning, we're going to go through the burning KFC, up and out of the McCasino, and through this dive loop. Then now we get into more of the traditional type layout with the zero-G roll, mid-course brakes, which not using the block brakes, so that's kind of unnecessary. But then we have our two interlocking corkscrews here, up and over this hill, down under the queue line, wrapping around into a curved brakes, which are a little questionable since that can't work, but it's an interesting layout. I like this kind of stuff where we're interacting with the buildings down here and then kind of popping out the top, and the supports are great. They're well done and everything. It's a little bit odd in that I almost would have expected like an adventure ride where it's unfolding a storyline, because what you'll see as we look around the rest of this is that it's telling a story through all the different areas. So we have this sort of industrial landscape where we're producing all of the burgers and things which go to McDonald's, but it gets a little more suspicious as we continue through everything. So there's different rides here, like here's Le Fabric, and here's a Ferris wheel, and just some other little bits and pieces, little locker building here, and just nice little realistic details. Our little playground underneath the arches, the golden arches, and then just very industrial looking buildings, kind of nice look overall. And then we have this kind of stuff, like here's the production line, and then here's our fresh hamburgers that are going out the door and dropping on into our McDonald's here. So get your Virginia Real hamburger as it falls down in there. And we have, as we continue back, we have all of our little cows, the cute little cow objects, and all the cow poop here, as you can see, walking around. No fences here, so we're just gonna assume everybody's gonna be safe. But underground is where we have more of the fun stuff. So we see here our different rides. This is the underground rivers of poop, and all the different little space astronaut uh, people that are underneath here. So little hazmat suit guys, as we look down here into the poop vat and the all the mixers and things like that. And here's all the burgers that are burned going out the door and off into the abyss over here into this other vat of things. And there's the different elements and everything here. Here's a McDonald's sign and everything. So clearly something a little bit sinister is going on here with these giant vats of poop that somehow magically produce some burgers above. But I love all the little details in here, all the pipes and warehouse-looking buildings and things like that. Like I said earlier, it almost seems like an adventure ride might do better here, where you're kind of going through the different storyline elements and kind of culminating with this big launch and dive over top. It's kind of an odd start where we go through this and then it suddenly turns into kind of a halfway realistic layout at the end. Almost seems like you kind of want to discover the cowls out here and you're going around, and then all of a sudden you kind of go below and see some of the more seedy underbelly of things, and then you take off and go down through the buildings and back up. But either way, I think it's nice looking. I think it's certainly a well-deserved design. I love the bright colors and just the overall theming in the backside here. It definitely has a little bit of touch of humor in there, touch of activism perhaps, which you certainly can't fault. So I like it a lot. I like these details here, like the stalactites dropping down in these big vats of stuff, and then the uh, things here that are sort of fragmenting off into nothing on all the ends. But a nicely done design. I think it was definitely well done. As I've said, I will start to do kind of going back through and just looking at some of the highlights, some of my favorite things for those who don't want to watch the whole stream. I really like these underground areas, just all the different walkways and just little industrial bits and pieces. The layered monorails look really cool here with all the different curves and corners. I like the cityscape street, especially with the coaster kind of diving straight in up above. The buildings look nice, especially the one that's getting roasted right now, the KFC. And then just a lot of these like just this plaza area here. I think it's really well done. It's very pleasant with the architecture on all the different sides and the water and everything going through. So I am a fan of this, and just kind of lots of good little details in there. Looking forward to seeing more from MK98 because I think this is a cool style and always interested to see continue building. So that's all that we have for today. Nice little simple review. Go download this park. I will put a link in the description and take a look. And as always, if you have any requests that you'd like to see, feel free to drop me a note and I will add them to the queue. So until next time, thank you very much.